Alright, I'm not happy now. So we're trying to go into this division problem, this division section here. I just recorded this whole thing for 8 minutes and then lost it as I clicked to upload the video. So I'm a little bit irritated right now. If this computer was not so sensitive, I might smash it, or expensive. So before you go to this new section here, before you take out the handout, I'd like you to check your answers from last night's homework. I stole my teacher's edition, so Mr. Snyder can't look at it, and I don't want to make him go through it. So there's your answers from last night. Take plenty of time, look them over. If they're wrong, figure out why they're wrong. Figure out which little factor you forgot to cancel out, or which aspect of the factoring you missed. If you're really unsure about how to do it, definitely ask Mr. Snyder. Ask him to do a couple on the board, or show you how to do a couple of them if you need to, on your paper even. So there's the answers. Send those to Mr. Snyder. Put them in the orange box, or hand them right to him directly, so I can give you credit for those from yesterday's work. When you're done with that, you don't have to write these down. We've got a couple of warm-up questions that relate to division. So it's not on this paper. I intentionally didn't put it on there. But I got 3 problems right here. This is the time I'd like you to pause and just think about these 3 problems. Figure a value for x, for w, for x, and for y. And these are sort of like little mini equations. You shouldn't write anything down though. You should do mental math to get the value of these 3 variables. And you'll probably notice the structure of my equations. They're exactly the same on the left and the right. 100 divided by 2 is in some way, shape, or form equal to or the same as 100 times something. 30 divided by 3 is the same thing as 30 times something. You'll see this number is the same for all of them. So if I divide something by 2, I get 50 here. 100 times what is 50? Well, duh, that's a half. So you'll notice all of these answers will be fractions. Division is related to fractions because the fraction basically is division. So 100 times a half is 50. 30 divided by 3 is the same thing as 30 times 1/3. A third of 30 is 10, and 30 divided by 3 is 10. And hopefully you're kind of seeing a trend. So you get 1/2, you get 1/3. Hopefully you can figure this one out. Hopefully you realize this one is 4/3. And I'm really setting you up this way so you can see the relationship between 4/3 and 3/4. What do you call those when they're the exact same fraction but flipped? Yes, reciprocals is what you're thinking in your brain right now. So 9 divided by 3/4 is a weird concept. Dividing a number by a fraction sort of doesn't even make sense. How does 3/4 go into 9? It's sort of a weird thing to even talk about. So we really want you to just master the mathematical idea that dividing by a fraction or dividing by a number is the exact same thing as multiplying by that number's reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. Reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So that's what we're going to do on all these. Those little warm-up questions on the top of your page. If you're good at fractions, multiplying and dividing fractions, this will be easy for you. You're going to take every division problem and you're not going to do it. You're going to replace it with a multiplication problem. So 2/3 divided by 4/3 is really 2/3 divided by 3/4. And again, it's a weird concept when we talk about dividing and fractions. The easiest one I can give you is think of anything divided by 2. It's the same thing as multiplying by a half. Taking half or multiplying by half, same as dividing by 2. So then from yesterday, of course, remember you can cross-cancel things. You can cross-cancel the 3's. You could multiply across if you wanted to instead and get 2 times 3 is 6. On the bottom you get 12. And 6/12, of course, reduces to a half. You could do it this way and call these both 1s and just say, oh, it's just 2/4. Of course, 2/4 also reduces to 1/2. There's a lot of different ways to get to that 1/2 answer on there. But it's really this concept of changing any division problem into a multiplication problem. And you're not going to multiply by 2/3. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3/2. Another one you could cross-cancel this way. 2 goes into both of those. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into itself once. And of course you get 9/5 if you multiply across. Or 1 4/5. So now we're going to just take this exact same concept and apply it to binomials and trinomials. Anytime you see a division problem, you're not going to do it. You're going to rewrite it as multiplication by a reciprocal. And most of these problems are going to have a fraction you're dividing by, which makes sense to make it a reciprocal now. So x plus 5 over x plus 2 divided by x minus 3 over x plus 2 is really multiplying. I would scribble that out, make it a multiplication sign, and I would actually scribble this out That's actually a font on the special font on the computer called Cameron Smith font. That's Cameron Smith's handwriting right there. And you're actually going to change that to x plus 2 over x minus 3. So every one of your homework problems, I would actually not even write down what's in the book. I would write down the original first number. I would write down a multiplication problem. And the second part of it, I would write the reciprocal of whatever the heck that is. And then you show your cross-canceling. This is what we did yesterday. You can cross-cancel the x plus 2's, and all you have left over is the x plus 5 divided by x minus 3. You can't cancel the x's. You guys hopefully know that by now. You just leave it as a binomial. Same thing on the second one, x minus 8 over x plus 6 divided by, forget that, I hate division. I'm going to do multiplication. And I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of whatever is given to me. So I'm going to get rid of that using my Cameron Smith font and change it again to x plus 9 over x minus 8. And from yesterday, of course, you know, hey, we can cancel stuff out. The x minus 8's go away, and all you have is x plus 9 over x plus 6. A couple people yesterday were saying, oh, maybe this reduces to 3 halves. You can just cancel the x's. Now, this is the quantity of this over the quantity of this. Just think about if x was a number. If x was 1, in both cases, you'd have 10 over 7. 10 over 7 is not the same thing as 9 over 6. They wouldn't work to just cancel the x's out. So you just stop right there. It's just a binomial over a binomial. So this is a good spot to pause. I'm going to very quickly try to pause this thing before I lose all my recording again. Try this one again. You'll see this on your paper a lot. Division is the same thing as multiplication by a reciprocal. Write that down a few times. Bash it into your brain so you've got it if you don't already have it.